What if I told you that most successful retirees lose more money from overthinking their investments than they ever did from market crashes? I've worked with families who built $5 million, $8 million, even $15 million portfolios, only to find themselves completely paralyzed the moment their paychecks stop. What used to be a simple plan gets reworked, overanalyzed, and spun in a dozen different directions. And that complexity, it doesn't protect them, it costs them. It costs them in stress, in taxes, and in performance. And the biggest mistakes I see in retirement investing isn't picking the wrong stock, it's turning your strategy into something too complicated to follow. My name is Chris McClure, and after helping families for 30 years retire with confidence, the best advice I can give you is this. Keep your investments simple, smart, and structured, especially after you stop working. Because what worked to build your wealth won't always protect it. Let me walk you through the framework that I use with clients and how it helped one couple go from anxious to confident in just a couple of months. Alan had just sold his business at age 61. He and his wife, Debbie, came to us with $7.2 million in investments and a pile of investment plans from other advisors. In fact, one of their statements was 42 pages long. Alan looked at me and said, should we be all in on dividend stocks or should we go ultra conservative now? You see, that's a classic retirement moment. There's just too many options and not enough clarity. So here's what we did instead. We built what I call a three-purpose portfolio. Purpose one was the peace of mind money. We set aside 2 years in expenses, or about $600,000. It was in cash and short-term instruments. It wasn't to grow. It was just to be there if the markets didn't perform. It's like emotional insurance. They could go through a bear market without touching their long-term assets or losing sleep. Purpose number two was income replacement. We structured a 5-year income engine using municipal bonds and dividend-paying stocks. It replaced their paychecks without relying on market timing. They knew exactly where their income was coming from every month for the next 5 years. And purpose number three really is long-term growth. The rest of their investments stayed invested for the next 20 or 30 years. They were well diversified, they were tax aware, and they were designed to keep pace with inflation, potential healthcare costs, and also they were designed for legacy planning for their kids and grandkids. The result? Well, Alan stopped checking his accounts every day. They took the river cruise through the Amazon they'd been putting off for 10 years. And ironically, their portfolio performed better because they left it alone. You see, simple really works, but complexity isn't always in the investments. Sometimes it's sort of hidden in your tax structure. Rochelle had $3.8 million across IRAs, a trust account, and she had an old annuity. The investments were decent, but the tax drag was brutal. She was paying a ton of unnecessary taxes every single year. And what happened is every time she rebalanced, she triggered capital gains. The annuity had no real purpose, and her IRAs were sitting untouched until RMDs. And when she started RMDs, it would have created significant amounts of unnecessary tax. So we repositioned everything. Growth assets went into a tax-deferred account and Roth accounts. Income-producing assets went into her taxable account where we could harvest losses and offset gains. We also began converting $110,000 per year in Roth IRAs, staying just under the 24% tax bracket. And the projected tax savings was roughly $270,000 over the next 15 years. Another client of mine, Brian and Leah, had $5.9 million, but they were afraid to touch it. They were living almost entirely off Social Security, not because they had to, because they didn't want to make a mistake. We used this same three-purpose structure to give them clarity and confidence. And 6 months later, they gave each of their kids $50,000 towards a home. And they took their first trip abroad in 12 years. You see, that's what smart investing looks like in retirement. It's not about complexity, it's really about control. If you're within 5 years of retirement, or you might already be retired, and you want to make sure your investments are structured to support your lifestyle, not just sit on a spreadsheet, but actually do something for you, there's a link below to schedule a 20-minute wealth strategy call. It's not a sales pitch, It's just a 20-minute chat for us to talk about your situation and see if I might be able to help. Thanks a lot for watching. I really love making these videos, and I'll see you in the next one.